Hey, it's February 23rd, and I thought I'd come on for a minute early, at least, and tell you that tonight we're going to do your pictures, your nice artistic pictures. So if you would like to send it in, I've got the information in the description right now, right this very minute, okay, and that becomes important. Now, if you're going to watch this on the rewind, go ahead and comment, and I'd like to see your comments and see what you're thinking and stuff like that. So uh, the show doesn't start for another minute or less, but I wanted to tell you guys to go ahead and submit your pictures. Send me a picture. Look in the description because I'm asking you to write and give me permission to use the picture. And also, if there's some kind of a description that you want to use with your picture, that would be nice, because don't forget, we haven't seen your pictures before. And then if we don't get very many pictures, I'm looking at my email now. I got one from Sammy. Sammy doesn't look like an artistic picture, but I think the equipment that he's holding is going to be pretty interesting. And I see one from Furman, and Furman sends in really beautiful pictures. So let's see, what else can I think of? In the description is the email. I'm not going to say it because if I need to pull it, like during the week, in case I get somebody that decides they're going to do something bad, I'll just remove it. Okay, so I'm able to do that. And the Daily Man, I see your comments coming up. Actually, this is Carlos's picture. It's one of my favorite pictures, and I'm just going to kind of use it. I think I got permission from Carlos to use it as my opening shot so that the TV doesn't just look black. And I'm sitting here looking at you with a black television set. So this makes for a mighty pretty picture. I think it's very peaceful. It's like walking in the garden. It's where you would go to say your prayers, okay? And it's got beautiful trees and leaves. I think Carlos sent this in maybe a month ago now. Maybe. I don't remember the date, but it wasn't last week, because last week Jim was here. Jim, if you're watching, thank you for being here and visiting me. That means so much to me. I appreciate it. I love you. I love all of you guys. So is it 10 o'clock yet? Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. We can actually start the show. So if you've got a picture that you think is worth sharing, okay, I'm not going to embarrass you much. I try not to embarrass people, but it happens sometimes. And I got my phone here. So if there's anything that I need to give immediate attention to, Sammy, only for an emergency, you call me, okay? Or Randy. Let's say the porn people decide that they're going to start bombing me. Actually, I did not even remember to put in the delay on this one. So they could very well bomb me tonight, because they look for open channels where you don't have anything to filter out what you're doing. And I forgot to do it. I don't think I could do it now. I really don't. Let me check, because if I can, I think it'll make all of us feel better. And I am doing a test also tonight. I am broadcasting on this channel right here, Peter Gregg Live, which is the fun channel. This is where I get to play like a little child, okay? We're going to show pictures. In other words, there's no limitations. It's not limited to cameras like on my big channel, all right? So I lost my train of thought. Okay. Oh, I was going to try to go to Rumble, not Rumble. I was going to try to go to, let's see, live. Okay, now I'm looking in my studio, and I'm looking to find the live show that we've got running right now. Okay, and I think I found it. So what I'm going to do is, yes, I did. So what I'm going to do, for those of you that know what live streaming is about, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to add right now where a person can't make a comment unless they're a subscriber. Okay, so you know what happens is these bots, these robots, they look for people that are alive, and then they come in and they bomb with porn. It's mostly porn, okay? Or you'll get a child, and the child will actually, you know, let's see, how can I make that? I'm going to try with just the subscribers only tonight and not put it in slow mode, okay? So I made it subscribers only. And all right, so I am doing a test where I'm broadcasting on Peter Gregg Live, but because YouTube has actually removed a couple of my videos now with no explanation, no recourse, I can't go back and even see what I possibly did wrong. They just said, this is not a copyright strike, but you violated the terms of service. And since you violated the terms of service, you are a very bad boy. Now, they didn't write it as nice as that. They said, we have removed your video, okay? One of them was Good Friday from last year, almost a year ago. And the other one was like in the summer. It comes so far down the road that if you're not super organized, you're screwed. Because the natural mind wants to, what did I do wrong? Can someone tell me and share with me what I did wrong? So, no, they don't tell you what you did wrong. They remove the video. And remember, I did transition from the Mac Mini M1 to the Studio M2. So some of those earlier videos didn't make it over in the transition. So I figured, oh, I'll just go look at my library and see what was going on in that show. So no, I didn't get to save it. And all they say is that you did your terms of service. So I am trying to engage Rumble. Now I can't see the comments from Rumble. So if you're on Rumble, I cannot see your comments. I don't think. I think if I go over here, I could check every once in a while if I remember. So there is no comments on Rumble. But I actually have to go to the window where Rumble is to actually see if there's comments. But on the YouTube ones, I can do it. Now the other way that I'm getting around YouTube is I've reactivated my Patreon, okay? And I've actually lowered it down to $1 for a month. And what I'm doing is what I've coined a phrase, almost daily vlogs, meaning I'd like to do them daily. I use the E1, the Sony E1. It's the easiest camera. It's got that gimbal killer stabilization going. And so I put up a video almost every day this week, and it's only for the Patreon people. They have a charge, so you have to, you know, I mean, it's like $5, $10, $25, $50, $100 a month. But I could pick it, and so I picked $1 as a starting point. Now, even if you pick the $1, you could put whatever dollar amount you want. So let's say you want to do $5 or $25 or $100, whatever it is you choose, okay? Everybody that's on Patreon gets my almost daily vlogs. And Sammy has seen them. Jim Monday has seen them. I don't know who else is on Patreon. So the link to that, I believe I put it in the description. So just go there and sign up for the $1 and you get, it's kind of like a private club between you and me. And, you know, a dog named Boo. You and me and a dog named Boo. Okay, so anyway, back to the show. So that is how I'm getting around what YouTube is trying to do to me. I'll just raise my own support. And I think 25 cents a week, which is charged at $1 a month, is not something that I can't ask for, okay? So let's just take a quick look. Scotty's here. He's saying good evening. Hi, Scotty. How are you? And Sammy says, I just submitted some photos. Roy is in Australia, and Roy is saying, good day, Peter. Sammy is saying, I'm using the lav mic tonight. Oh, yeah. I put the lav mic on tonight instead of the other one that is over here because I keep turning over here and I get close and far. And when I was playing back my video from a week or two ago, then I would say, oh, I did turn on the Christmas tree. Let me turn that off because the ZF likes to focus on the tree back there. And we're not even showing the Christmas tree lights. So now I'm walking around, you can still hear me, okay? So I think I didn't turn the lights on one week and it did much better. So thank you, Scotty. So let's pull this over here. I'm bringing it close so that I could see it. Let's pull my shirt down. Plop in the chair. Okay, so now there's no lights back there. So Scotty, Sammy says you're using the lav mics. The Daily Man, he put on a new avatar. Haven't seen that one before. We'll miss you tonight. I'm working late. Love you and everyone in the Christmas room. Well, we love you and I love you, Carlos. You're one heck of an amazing person, and I don't mind saying so. Okay, Charles is here. Hello to everybody. There's Charles. Charles does live streams. And Roy is, YouTube is past its use date. I'm hoping for something better to come along. Well, the word on the street is that Rumble plans to come on. They're there now. Rumble is a website, and Rumble is like a very similar to YouTube. All right, they share their revenue with you. That's one of the few that actually do that. Here's Lewis. He's saying hi to everybody. Hi, Lewis. We love you. Lewis, it's $65 to change the battery somewhere on the main street here for my iPhone 10. Does that sound reasonable? Is it a go? Can I do that? I'll take it to the store. It's, where is it? 67th Avenue or something like that. And so it's $65 in labor and battery. Unless you want to do it, then that's, you know, iPhone 10 is what I've got. Just the regular iPhone 10. So I just thought of that because I just called them today and I said, what does it cost? The guy barely spoke any English. I've got hot chocolate going in my red cup tonight. So if you want to be a supporter at $1 a month, I know it's going to break the bank, okay? But if you want to be a supporter at $1 a month, use the link, and then we don't have to count on the support that comes from YouTube. It'll be our own environment that supports us. So I don't think I can go any lower than $1 a month. It's like 25 cents a week. You know, not bad. All right, so I got a thumbs up from Lewis. Thank you, Lewis. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, so that is what we've got going, and let's get over to the pictures. Now, I'm not going to be popping up that many of the comments tonight. That'll be next week. So next week it'll go back to, I love you, you're fantastic, let me put your comment up here and talk about you for a minute or two, and that's what our show is normally about. But tonight, I'm not going to do that very much. I might pop one up here or there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay attention to that computer because that's different than the computer over there, okay? And I will actually, you know, be looking at the pictures that you guys are sending me in. Now, if I run out of pictures for the show tonight, in that case, we'll just revert back to coming back over to the comments, okay? And Sammy, you keep an eye, and if I need to pay attention, because I can't see the comments too well over there, all right? And they're not showing up on this computer over here. So this is the Sammy TV stand. This is the Toshiba television right here. And Peter puts his fingerprints all over it. Okay, see I'm tapping it now. Not supposed to do that, just in case you didn't know. Randy, are you up? Wake up, Randy. He eats and he gets sleepy when he eats. So let's come over, and I'm going to make the comment windows smaller. All right, so the first picture we've got is actually from Sammy. So what I need to do is come over here, and I need to click the escape key. So let's turn this way. So the escape key is mighty handy. Then I need to take off Carlos's picture. Carlos, if you don't want me to be putting that picture up anymore, let me know, buddy, okay? Because I don't want to be violating anybody's privacy. All right, so we can come over here. Now, this is not really an artsy picture. It really doesn't belong in this show, but it is an important picture because Sammy actually got a new piece of gear. So if you look at this piece of gear right here, all right, it's a shoulder rig, but let me put it up bigger for you so you can see it. All right, let me put it up here on the show. All right, so there is the picture right there. All right, so you see this black thing behind Sammy's head? That is like an overhead thing that comes around, and there's a wire that comes down, and you hook your camera on it, kind of like a sky hook. All right, so for the pictures, let's go over to the Randy cam right here. Where is it? It's right there. Okay, there we go. All right, this way we're not distracted with the cameras going back and forth. We want to look at the pictures. So that thing comes over Sammy's head, and it clips on to his gear. So his gear is now basically suspended. This is kind of like a power gimbal. This is like getting real close to buying a gimbal, but not having an actual gimbal. So Sammy has the camera, as you could see, he's got it on bars. Okay, where's my hands? Over there. He's got it on bars like that, so he can move his body left and right. But even to make it more stable from if he's walking or something like this, all right, there's this thing that straps on your back. So that thing is strapped onto his back, and it brings a black rod. You can see the black rod. I can't point to it. I can point to it over here. Okay, well, you can't see that either. All right, so I can't put my mouse over that. But it brings a wire down, and it hooks onto your camera. So now the camera, and you can control how much lift it has. So the camera actually is almost floating, and the amount that it's not floating is actually suspended on your shoulders. So this is for a select few group of people, but for those that are that group of people, it's actually a godsend. Okay, so thank you for sending that picture in, Sammy. Okay, so let me close that picture down. And you notice I got rid of the black that comes up. All right, so now let's go back here. Furman sent a picture. Let's go to Furman's picture. No, that's not Furman. That's somebody else. Furman. Front and center, Furman. There it is. Okay, so this is Furman's picture. It's going to pop up right here, right now. Bing! All right, so now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to make this full screen. So it shows a little bit on the dark side here. So how about if I pop it up full resolution for you? And then you could see all the nuances that's in this picture. Okay. There we go. It's a portrait orientation. So I just made it smaller so it'll fit on the screen it's over on your right side. Now that's the full resolution, but I've actually made it a little bit smaller. Okay. So this was taken with a Canon R8. So the Canon R8 is the camera that shot it. and he's using the Samyang RF lens, 85 millimeters, 1.4 at f2.8. Okay, he's got two people in here. You notice when a good photographer knows what he's doing, two people, f2 is the minimum, and he just gave it a little bit of a nudge. So f2.8, and the shutter speed was 1/200th of a second, which kind of freezes the action the higher you go with your shutter speed. You guys know that, right? And the ISO is 100. Now, looking at the picture, my mouse doesn't show on the screen, correct? Because I'm putting the mouse over the picture. And see, I can move the picture. It's my mouse that's on it. But I don't think you're seeing that if I want to point to something. All right. So looking at the picture, you can tell that the light is actually a little bit different, because normally the lighting should be where your nose points. So if I'm looking this way, my nose is pointing here. My light should be there, okay? So now after you've got your light in that spot, now I can turn my head. So I would turn my head until my back ear disappears. So see how you can see my ear? I'm going to turn my head little by little. This is for portrait shooting, okay? I don't want to show a piece of meat coming out the side of my head. The only piece of meat coming out the side of most people's heads is their ear. So you want to turn the head, you know. You can, if the person is cooperative, you can tell them and they'll turn their head. If they're not cooperative, gently take the chin and turn it. Okay. Now, I don't suggest you touching too much, especially these days. But with some people, you can be comfortable to touch, and others, you might not be comfortable. You could tell on their feedback. So the key light over here is camera right. You see how her arm is lit up? Okay. Now, if the key light is another way of saying the main light, if it was moved over to camera left, okay, over to this side of the picture, rather than, my arm doesn't go out far enough. That's the other side of the picture, okay? Then it would have had a different type of a lighting. Now this is, I've seen enough of Furman's pictures to know he knows that that's the way it should have been, but we've got black skin here. It might not have turned out well. The shadows might have been too deep, okay? And I think that he wanted to show that they're kind of got their hands on the baby. She's pregnant. So the dad has got his hand on the baby and the mom's got her hand on the baby. So this is kind of like a maternity shoot. So this is how you start a maternity shoot, and then they take off more and more clothes until we're borderline, okay? And some women come in fully intending, okay, for it to almost be a porn. Now, I don't do porn, so if it's like no clothes at all, I would have her lift up a leg, or if it's him, I'd have him lift up a leg so you would hide the family jewels. You can do that, okay, and you want to, because unless you're an actual pornographer, you don't really want to show that particular part. It's not really conducive to the picture, to be honest with you. So I think that is actually, now I can push the button here, and this will make this disappear. And I'm going to take myself and go full screen on me again. Okay. All right, so that was Furman. And did I tell you? Yeah, Canon R8, 85 millimeter. 85 millimeter is actually a pretty good compression. Compression is, have you seen pictures where the face looks like it's bellowing out and the nose looks bigger? Okay. The higher you go with your focal millimeters, the less compression. It actually will squeeze it more and more. That's why you'll see many photographers, including me, will shoot heavily with an 85 millimeter, 100 millimeter, or the 70 to 200. Okay, so I've got a picture here from Mark. Okay, let's pull this over here. And okay, so the orientation on this one is nice. So we're going to move this to the Toshiba. There it is. All right, let's make this full screen over here. All right, so this is kind of an artsy picture. It's very pretty. It's got like a melodic type of a look to it. So, not melodic, I meant to say melancholy. Okay, so let me take that picture off. Let me get, I'm filling up my spots here, so I'm just removing them. Okay, so let's come over here and bring up this picture and bring it to be actually no. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to bring Mark. Mark's in Chicago. All right, so now that's the full resolution of Mark's picture. So what do we got going on here? We've got somebody with a hat walking along the beach. I can't tell if he's shooting directly into the light or if the clouds are actually providing that kind of a cover. The clouds are actually becoming like an umbrella. So this is a black and white or a monochrome picture. Let me see if he wrote anything about this picture. No, he didn't write anything, so I don't know. This was probably, might have been by film, because I know he shot film for quite a while. So I like this. The contrast is not overly contrast, because on a black and white, you could raise your contrast too high, and the blacks are basically hitting you below the belt, and it's uncomfortable. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to push the escape key and take that. This is a nice shot. It's got like the guy is walking, if it is a guy, and he's walking in prayer. You see how I kind of go towards my faith a lot. So this is where I would like to go pray. Walk along, have the water rolling in. It's very pretty, you know. So let me remove that picture. So I don't save your pictures, guys. But I haven't removed the email. So if I have to go back to them, I've learned to start to go back to them. Okay. So let's go over to this computer here, and let's see who's up next. Okay, this one is from Charles. It's another black and white picture, which is, it gives it kind of like a mood. All right, so let's move it over to the Toshiba, which is sitting on the Sammy camera stand. Okay, so that's that picture, and now I'll give it to you in full resolution. So this shot is kind of like a shot that's turned to black and white. I don't see a real source of light. Actually, it's coming in a little bit from the back side of his head. Let's see where, if Charles wrote what this was. This was with a Fuji X-T2 with a 135 2.5 lens. So the background is blurred. I'm guessing he shot it at 2.5. So many times you could take a plain photo like this and you blur out the background. After you blur out the background, and you could turn it to be black and white, and you've got somewhat of an interesting picture. So I think that's a pretty nice looking shot. I wouldn't put this on my wall, but it's definitely better than a snapshot. Okay, so let's take it off and go. Oh, okay, let's take the full resolution down. And let's check out the next picture. All right, so we got one from Roy. Here's Roy. Oh, that's a pretty shot, Roy. Let's remove Charles's picture. Move to trash. That takes it off of 2 computers at the same time because my computer guy synced it for me. Okay, so all right, here is some Charles. Let's move this over to the Toshiba. And here we go. We're up on the Toshiba. And since we're up on the Toshiba, we'll make this full resolution for you to see. Okay. And this is very nice. He's got, this is taken a couple of months ago. Okay, that one's very nice. And this is not necessarily black and white, but it's kind of got that melancholy look to it, which is kind of pretty. So let's take and bring the next picture up here that Charles sent. He put 2 of them in the email. Okay. So this looks kind of like the colors were pushed a little bit. I don't think in real life the branch is purple. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the branch is not purple. So let's see if he's got any information on this one. No, but it's a very nice picture. This is a nice picture to share, actually. And it gives you a good example of what you want to do when you're out with your camera. Take the shot. It's important that you take the shot, because what are you going to do with your camera? You could just look at it and fall in love with it, okay? Or just take some pictures. There's never any harm in taking lots of pictures. So let's start to move on. All right, so let's go to the next email. Okay, so the email address is in the description. Oh, you know what? I just made a pretty big mistake. Those 2 pictures were not from Charles. They were from Roy, and I didn't give him proper credit. So let's put them back over here and give the man credit where credit is due. So Roy took that picture, and Roy took this picture, and I said Charles, okay? So first we'll take a quick look at this one again and give Roy his proper, okay? So that's the, I don't know, would you call that a red robin? I'm not quite sure, but it sure is a pretty shot. And Roy took this picture. And he gives me permission to use the picture. So Roy did everything right, and I still messed him up. Sorry, Roy. My mistake. Please forgive me. And then this is the other one that Roy sent in. And this one is a little more subdued, okay? Looks pretty though, right? Looks very pretty. So thumbs up, Roy. Those are nice shots, okay? So here we go, and that was my mistake, Roy. My apology. My apologies. Okay. Oh, here's my cousin. Let's make this one. This one is from Carlos. This one is from Carlos. I like this one. Let's make this full screen. The coloring on here is very nice. I want to say it's a peacock, but I'm not sure. I don't see peacock type of feathers back there. Okay, so let's see. Can I make this full screen? Let's come over to this computer. And let's give you the full resolution. So this is from Carlos. This is the R, the EOS R, which is a Canon camera. It's a 50 millimeter, 1.8, which this is like a low price lens, but you know what? They do fantastic. I actually own 2 of those here. One I have is an EF 51.8, and the other one that I have is a 50 millimeter RF 1.8. So he took this at ISO 100, and the shutter speed is 320th of a second. So in case it doesn't come across properly, I say 320th with a TH on the end. So that would be 1/320. So he bumped the shutter speed up to make it actually, you know, freeze, because you don't want a blur, because animals, you can never tell what they're doing, okay? So good shot on that, Carlos. Thank you for giving me all the information, giving me permission to use the picture. And let's go to the next email. No. I want to go to the next email. It's on this computer, which is why I don't see it. Okay, let's take the mouse over to the other screen. I got a screen over there in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. Okay. So now Charles has got another picture. I've already shown that picture, Charles. I'm not going to do that one again. Let's move this out here so I can make it full resolution. Okay, and let's move this to the Tosh. This is the Tosh, okay. And this is a girl that's kind of like looking into a mirror. So that's very nice. It looks like you purposely lit up her whole back, which is not the center of this picture. Okay, so I don't really want to see her back. So it would have been better. So if you know how to use Photoshop or Lightroom or something like this, mask out her face that's in the mirror. That needs to be brought up brighter, and everything else around needs to be more subdued. So it's actually in reverse. Everything else around is fully lit nicely, and the actual focal point of this picture is the face. Okay? Now, many times you will have a kid, you know, or a teenager or someone in their 20s, and if I critique it and I'll say something like that, they'll come back with like, oh no, I meant it to be like that. No, you didn't. Okay, the camera actually on this one exposed for the brightest white. So you notice her shirt is actually pretty well lit up. Exposed properly is the better term. Okay, but what's the real focal? The real focus of this is this lady is actually looking in the mirror. So when you have a girl looking in the mirror, what's the focal point? And it's the face. The face is always the focal point, and that makes it quite important. So if I had the ability, I would just do it right here on the spot so I could show you the difference. But I don't have that ability right now. I don't think Ecamm allows me to do masking and stuff like that. So let's see. All right, so let's take this picture down. All right, so now we're back to, okay, so that's the end of the pictures that came in. And now we can come back to the comments. And I can start popping up the comments. So let's go back up a little bit. I think I left off. Peter did the coloring for this photo, says Sammy. That's got to probably be the one where he put it up. The free was the first picture tonight. Key light is close to the camera. It's reflecting off of the cross. That would have been Furman's pictures. Sammy says, I love the 85mm lens. Okay, I think at this point I can actually go to the rotating cameras. So let's go down here and let's go to the rotating cameras. I'll keep an eye out if I get any more pictures in. Okay. I love the 85mm lens too. So Mark says the photo was shot on digital in Huntington Beach, California. I like that shot, Mark. You get, where are you? Over there. You get a thumbs up on that one. So on Charles's picture, that was an adapted Canon FD lens. So you can get adapters, you know. I have old lenses from Minolta, Konica, Hexanon, and I've got adapters to put those on these modern cameras that you're looking at now. Now, the modern cameras, it's not going to focus automatically. You're going to have to focus it manually. So that's perfectly fine. And here is Jim. Jim was here last week. So a week ago right now, Jim was sitting right here next to me. Instead of a television set, I actually had a Jim Monday, a real live one. So thank you again for coming. I appreciate you being here. I love you, Jim. And I thank you for all that you do for me. So Jeff is in Australia. Peter, I will watch later on the way out. I hope you had a great week. So this week, I actually did, I think, 5 or 6 or 7 videos that you guys won't be able to see. They are actually on Patreon. And the videos go up on Patreon. And they can be anywhere from 2 minutes to 10 minutes. And it's what I'm doing today. So I rewired the kitchen. So I recorded some of that. Then what else did I do? I'm sending back the air fryer because it's got scratches, or not scratches. The material is coming up. Let's put a picture up here. Let's put Carlos's picture. I like that picture, and it's a lot better than looking at a blank TV screen. So let's put Carlos's picture over here. Make it full screen. And now I look more professional. Okay. So you see the ripples in the water? Okay. So Roy says, should I have sent a black and white grayscale? No, that was pretty nice. That looked pretty good. The purple on there, Charles is saying it's color fringing. I already corrected the wrong photo. Roy says it's Crimson Rosella. We're referring to pictures. I'm getting better at bringing pictures to me. Yeah, actually I can use them, which is great. I like that. You were linking, what was the problem? You were linking them to someplace else, and on that computer I'm not set up to go there. Okay, so Carlos says it was a peacock. Peter got it right. Yay. Okay, it was a peacock. No colorization. They are incredibly colorful. That one was very colorful. So, so he said that Charles said he didn't edit that photo. Okay. Well, I gave you some hints as to how I would edit it. The light is from the sun coming through the window. Who cares? And I don't mean that rudely. I mean, like, to the person looking at it, it's the face. You've got to always pick the focal point. All right? So look at the way I have just this set up. What is the most prominent thing here? I set up all my shots like that, whether they're video or pictures or portraits or weddings. Now, that doesn't mean every single one has got to be like a portrait. But the picture needs to tell a story. And the one that Charles is referring to, it's a perfect exposure of the back of a girl. That's not a story. I think there's 7 or 8 billion people. Every one of them have a back, okay? So there's no story there. Ah, but the face is unique. Every one of us have a different face unless you're an identical twin. Anybody in here tonight is an identical twin? Do we have any identical twins in here? So an identical twin is you see yourself coming and going. So I always think that is pretty cool. And so that brings us down to the end of the comments. Carlos sent another picture, and Charles sent another picture. So let's take the background picture off of here. I wonder if I could set that as a background. That would be really cool. Where is my mouse? Here's Charles. It looks like a picture of a lady sitting in a chair. Let's move this over here. Let's move this. Okay. Well, let's make this full screen over here. Full screen. Okay. So now on this one, can you see the difference between, looks like the same lady. Charles, you need to get more than one person, buddy. Okay. Then now, her face is front and center. Okay. So between you and me, how do you do something like that? Okay. So let me tell you how you do something like that. All right. Now listen carefully. What you do is if you have a software like Photoshop, which is probably a harder one to use. Lightroom is a lot easier to use. Or you've got another one called Topaz, another one called Luminar. Now, Luminar has been letting me down lately. I used to recommend it highly, and now I don't anymore. So I would say, yeah, buy yourself Luminar. But they're missing the point on what we're doing with these shots, and they're taking out some of the usability. And I don't like that. So I'm not going to recommend them anymore, okay? So let's see. One of their older, let's see which one it is. I'm looking for it. All right, so that is Lightroom. I don't think I have it on this. So I think their newest one is Luminar Neo. That's a thumbs down. It's not recommended by me. The one before that is recommended by me, okay? Because you can switch pictures. I don't like when you can only work on one picture because I never come home with one picture. I don't know about you guys, but I'm guessing you don't come home with one picture. So you need to see them kind of like, I don't know what you call it. I would call it like a film strip across the bottom or a film strip across the one side. Even the free one from Photos right here actually will allow you to work it. As a matter of fact, let's see what would happen. I'm going to try something, okay? This is going to be very weird. It's going to be awkward for a second. So I'm going to take this one down, and I'm going to go back to one of Charles's prior pictures. I want to find that one where she's kind of looking in the mirror. I found it. Okay. So I'm going to bring it up here so you guys can watch. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do here, it might look a little awkward, all right, is I'm going to try to take this picture and I'm going to try to drop it in Photos, okay? And I'm not sure if I could do that. Let's do it in reverse. I'm going to drop it into Lightroom. Okay. Can I just drop this into Lightroom? Will it allow me to do that? Let's see. If it comes up, that'll be great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my desktop with you. Where are you? Which camera am I on? Oh, over here. I'm going to share the desktop with you if I can get this to do what I want it to do. Okay? It wants me to allow something, but I can't really read it. All right, so all right, it dropped it in. All right, so let me see if I can make this full screen. Let's click done. Okay. I'm gonna go to the desk for a second because I can't see the right place to click, and I need to put this photo in so that I can see it. All right, so I'm at my desk. All right, so where did this picture drop? It had to drop somewhere into Lightroom. Right there. Oh, I needed to import it. Okay. That's what I needed to do. And then I need to go to develop. All right, I'm coming back. I don't know what you're seeing. Oh, I don't have this set to the full desk. All right, so I'm going to walk, I'm sorry, right in front of the camera. Okay. So I need to come back into Ecamm. All right, and I need to go and switch this to my desktop. And then I need this to come up. Now, are you seeing Lightroom? Not sure, but let's see if I come back over here. We'll take a look. Yes, you're actually seeing Lightroom. Okay, so let me make sure I've got the mic on before I leave here and go back over to Lightroom. All right, so okay, so there's two ways to deal with this. I think you could see my mouse now, right? So what I need is the keyboard. Let me turn on the keyboard. All right, so the first thing I do is before I even start working on a picture, I want to make sure her face is in focus. And it's kind of like in focus. It could be better, but it's not exactly perfect. The shirt here is what the camera caught. So this is more or less like a snapshot, okay? Now, over on the right side, I actually have controls that I can use. And I'm going to do a little bit of manipulation on this picture now and show you how you could very quickly turn this from being just a so-so picture that I probably wouldn't even show a client, okay, to being something more unique. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first I'm going to take this, I'm going to click the auto, okay. So that button right there is auto, and then I brought it back. I did undo, all right. So I'm going to go over to right here. Can you see where I'm working on right here? Okay, all right, so I'm going to lower the exposure. I'm going to lower the exposure down on this quite a bit, okay. So that's almost one stop. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab the brush tool, okay. So the brush tool is right here. All right, now I'm going to make it smaller, okay. Now I'm going to paint basically her face, a little of the hair, right there, okay. And now I'm going to take this, we already lowered it down by 1, so I'll go up 1, and I want to make it even brighter. So now, because this camera didn't do such a good job of resolution. I don't know which one he took this on. All right, we actually have a brighter face, and that becomes the focal point. Okay, now from this point you could play, like I can raise or lower the contrast. So I lowered the contrast to make the face look a little smoother because it's a little bit harsh. Okay, and then I'm going to play with the blacks. I want to bring it up so it's a little bit brighter. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to crop this a little bit. So I'm going to come to the crop, and I'm going to pull this in, and I'm going to make it so I'm going to put her face on the rule of thirds. Okay, and now this is the same picture, and instead of you know, showing the back, let's see, can I do a before and after on here? You'd think I knew what I was doing, huh? All right. Now the next thing I would do is I come down on the right side until I find where the vignetting is. Okay. So this is the vignetting. If I go left, it brings the corners darker. If I go right, it makes the corners brighter. Okay. So I'm going to just bring the corners down just a little bit. Okay. And I'm done. So what I can do from here is I would actually do pondering. Okay. So I could take the vibrant and go up or down. Okay. And if you double click on anything on Lightroom, it brings it back. I can take the saturation and go up or down. I can come up over here and I can work with the color temperature. Like that looks a little bit better. Okay. And this would be the picture that I would show my client. And that's the difference from the picture that Charles sent in. Okay. And you watched me professionally edit your picture, Charles. Remember, I am a professional at this. I don't just play one. Now, with this picture, it has a focal point, and it's her face. And everything else is the supporting cast. Okay? So, that's what I would do on that picture. So you watched me do it live. And now I will come back over here and see if I could take control of this show again. Okay, so there I am. All right. So that I do that. I would do everything that I just showed you, I would say, in less than 10 seconds. And the reason I was a little clumsy is because I used the old Lightroom, the Lightroom 6. And on this computer, I downloaded and got the whatever their new one is through a friend of mine. So I'm kind of learning it. It's still very similar to what I'm used to, but I'll go through 100 pictures just like that. And that is when you learned how to do the editing. Now, this is the original picture that was sent in, okay? And this is this is the focal point right here. What a nice back, beautiful white shirt. Man, I got to get me a shirt just like that. And then the flowers, these are Cymbidium orchids. That looks awesome too. They're a little on the dark side. And I don't know, she's kind of like lost. Not even necessary to be there in the picture, okay? She could have been looking anywhere. It's very, very dark. And that is in contrast to what I just did with the editing on here, okay? Same picture, cropped a little bit. I would actually tilt it a little bit also. I didn't do that. I should have done that, okay? But hey, we're not perfect. All right, so I wanted to show you that because taking pictures is two parts. You want to get it as good as possible straight out of the camera. And most people are brainwashed into thinking it's like, oh, it's got to be out of the camera. It's got to be out of the camera, straight out of the camera. No, if you're doing this for money, just the first part of this is coming out of the camera. The second part is where your magic hands go in there and actually start to make a picture look good. Okay? So Sammy said that I edited that picture that he did. Yeah, okay. And what I did is I made his face pop. See, remember, I'm a wedding photographer, a portrait photographer, product photographer, okay? And I do also love landscape. But landscape, again, is you've got to look at a landscape picture, okay? And you need to see what is the focal point. What hurts you? What gets you right in the heart? Shot through the heart and you're to blame. You give love a bad name, okay? So every picture has a focal point. And when you do your editing, it's your job, okay, to make the picture talk to you. And you need, just like a piano, you need to practice it. How can I take a picture and spend no more than 10 seconds on it? Well, I didn't just start today, you know, because I might have taken 10 minutes to arrive at that before, all right? So that is, you know, that's what I wanted to show you, all right? So let's go over now. I wish I could do that a lot simpler. So let's go to the next one. I've got a couple of pictures in here. Whoa! Should I show that one, Mark? Mark showed me a really nice picture. I'm not so sure. Is this girl actually wearing clothes? Is this girl wearing a costume? I don't know what she's done. Now you're curious, right? You can't wait to see what Mark sent me. It's not that bad. I just built a story. See how you can make a story? What did you just pay attention to? You paid attention to my words. You didn't pay attention to my face. So you see how you pick a focal point? You do the same thing with your pictures, okay? Now, we might have an argument here as to what the focal point is of this picture. Okay, let's put the picture up so we can all laugh together and it's not just me. All right, so thank you, Mark. You gave us a little bit of fun times over here. So here we have my ex-wife. Oh, I better make sure he's not related to Mark. Okay, that is one cute girl, right? All right, so let me get this computer back into shape because I got Lightroom open. I got so many things open over here. I don't know what kind of horsepower we're running. Okay, so let's see how Mark is trying to entertain us here. Okay, so this reminds me of a picture where the title of it was, what do you call it when a person is drowning and you're resuscitating them? Okay, so it's two girls with their butts up in the air and they're wearing basically almost like a string bikini. And you're supposed to be focusing on the resuscitation that's going on, okay? No, your eyes didn't go there. It was those two gorgeous butts that were amazing to look at, okay? So Mark is doing that to us here right now. All right, so I'm guessing this might be a fashion show now that I finished with all my silliness. But you got to admit, honestly, if I could just be honest with you, okay, and it's mostly boys in here, okay, the focal point of this is her thighs. You know, it's not the white dress. She's not well endowed up here. It's not Dolly Parton, okay? She's not even looking straight on in the camera. But dang, those thighs look awesome. They look like, you know, when I go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, I like to order the thighs. Well, I like the breasts too. We're talking about chicken. Don't get me in trouble, okay? So this picture is a lovely shot. I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm going to leave it alone, you know. So he said he used flash. It's a fashion week. So this is from Fashion Week. All right. So getting serious for a second. All right. So what happened in this picture when the camera took it? The camera actually exposed with the flash for the white dress. Took out all the background. It made the skin dark, okay, and it basically gave you a picture of the dress. So since this is Fashion Week, okay, I would say in that case that you would want the dress. Let me make it smaller so you get the whole thing, because one of the good things that I can point out is he got the full picture, okay. Many of us will take a picture and cut out a head or cut out the feet, but Mark got the whole thing. All right. So on that point, Mark, you did a good job. So now you heard of a white balance tool, and you've heard of an exposure tool. They're two different things, and everybody has blocked it and washed it into one thing. When your camera does white balance, it uses white. Okay, now what people have done is they've brainwashed people into thinking you're supposed to use 18% gray. No, you're not supposed to use 18% gray. I have 18% gray cards. 18% gray is for exposure. Okay, so the camera here took and exposed. He said, where is Mark? Okay, he said it exposed, okay, for the flash. So the flash took the whites, and it automatically will take the brightest whites and bring them down 18%. That's what 18% gray is, okay? Now, a lot of people go like, I shot an 18% gray card so I can get the proper exposure. Okay. Well, no, that is correct. I got it backwards. I shot that to get the proper white balance, okay? So the proper white balance is not made, it's not called gray balance, it's not called blue balance, it's not called red balance. What is it called? It's called white balance, okay? Yeah, I saw you shot that on your Nikon, okay? So what happened here is you've got good resolution in the dress. But dang if it ain't the girl that's the important part here. So how do you handle something like this? All right. First of all, you need to bring your contrast down by quite a bit. You notice the blacks are black, the whites are white. That's harsh. How do you reduce the harshness? Contrast. Okay. You guys don't mind me getting into this like that, do you? Okay. Maybe I'm getting too deep for you. All right. So I'll back out. So that was a good example. Now, as a guy, I'm looking at the girl. I'm not looking at the dress. If I was a fashion designer and I was, oh my, let's see. Okay, let's not make fun of people, Peter. Okay, but the point is, you know, you can let the camera shoot like this. So how I do flash, just to give you some insight. So you're going to put a flash unit on your camera, okay? I will take a picture, even with the bounce card that you know, makes the light more subdued. I will take a picture with the flash off and get the proper exposure. Look at the exposure that the camera did, okay? After you look at the picture of what the camera did, all right, now you try to get your exposure yourself close to that, bring it down a little bit, and then you use the light to add a kiss of light. Okay, in this particular shot that we're seeing on the right-hand side of your screen, it actually did a picture taken completely of flash. Okay, you get no background, the skin tones, the legs, those beautiful juicy thighs, the arms, okay, whatever her chest, whatever part of that chest is actually showing, that's along for the ride. It's not actually, you know, exposed for that. So this is a hard one to do, guys, but you could do it. And you know where it comes from? It comes from experience and practice. You take something white and start taking pictures of it and get it until you can get a good balance between the ambient lighting and the flash. There's no balance on this picture. This is not Mark's fault. I'm not picking on you, Mark, in case you're still here. Oh, he just popped up. Okay. I am not picking on you, buddy. Okay. Love you. But I am saying that I shot a lot of wedding dresses, and wedding dresses are usually green, blue, orange. No, they're not. They're white. Okay. And then the groom, the guy, the male, okay, is usually standing next to her, and usually he's wearing a purple suit or a white suit. No, he's not. He's wearing a black suit. So how do you balance for that? That's where skill comes in. And you need to sign up for Peter Gregg University, which has not been created yet. Okay. I like that picture in terms of a lesson. Okay. It becomes important. So, all right. So Mark is saying it's not too deep, Peter. I have plenty of flash photos I can share. No, that's enough. Okay. The best way to have shot that, just a quick rambling, is to have shot a natural ambient only picture. And then after you get that, then the flash is used to fill. Okay. And if your camera will not do a good ambient picture, you've got the wrong camera. No offense to anybody, especially to you, Mark. And that's why I often look at how high of an ISO can I go and not get too far from an ISO 400. That's what the website DxO Mark is for me. People trash it. They go, it's not fair. It does this, it does that. But you know what it does on an instrument, like an airplane instrument landing? It actually will tell me how high the ISO will go on a particular camera before it starts to degrade more than a very slight bit from ISO 400. So ISO 400 is the default, okay, that they use. Not 100, not 200, but ISO 400. Now, what they do is they start to go up, and when the picture starts to degrade, okay, deteriorate from ISO 400, that's where they cut it off. So I usually, for my professional work, I will go to DxOMark, MARK.com. I will look at the sensors on the different cameras. I will go to what they call sports. I don't know why they may call it sports, but that is the ISO rating of a camera. And many cameras, if it says the highest ISO you can go is 3200 before you start getting too far away from ISO 400, the quality of ISO 400, I will take that number and double it, or even double and a half. So let's say a camera can go to ISO 3200. I would feel comfortable based on those mechanical numbering. In other words, this is not opinion. This is done with equipment, okay, instrumentation. I will double it. So if it says 3200, I can come back, I can go to a wedding and shoot up to ISO 6400 on that camera, okay? And that's how I use ISO, DxO Mark, okay? So without knowing what it's capable of, I would have taken that picture, okay? I would have taken it in ambient. I would have had to have some practice shots, okay? And then I would have probably gone over to manual, and then I would have taken the flash, and I would have either taken the flash and brought it down under exposed on the flash, not the camera, by negative 2/3, okay? And then take a couple of test shots. And then I want the kiss of light, okay? And then everything would have come out great, all right? So now that's only my opinion. You can have other people, have their opinions. So Roy says, explain how to expose for the background and drag the shutter, okay? So I kind of did that in a roundabout way. if you take an ambient shot, you know what an ambient shot is? Turn your flash off, take a picture. Look at the settings that the camera gave you. Well, first make sure it's proper, okay? And let's say it's 1/80th of a second at let's say 2.8, all right? Because, you know, a fashion shoot, they know that it's lighting that's important. So they're going to give you some decent lighting, all right? So now what I would do is I set the camera for less than 1/80th, and that's called dragging the shutter, which is what, look on the right side of your screen, that side, okay? You'll see Roy is talking about dragging the shutter. So you bring the shutter down, and you have 2 shutters on your camera when you're using flash, okay? You didn't know that, did you? Your flash is also a shutter because the camera is going to freeze with the flash lights up, but it will let the other stuff blur. So if the background blurs, it's okay, baby, okay? But you want her sharp. So we're actually getting in a very advanced stage right now, all right? I think we're getting over a lot of people's heads, all right? So some of the techniques is called dragging the shutter. Some of the techniques are called fill light. Some of the techniques are where you can take the setting here and have it expose under by 1 stop, under by 2/3 stops. So for instance, if I was going to use flash outside in a bright sunny day, I'd take off my Better Bounce card. I would do exactly what I tell you not to do. Aim the flash directly forward. Let the camera handle all the exposure outdoors. And I'd set the flash to -1 2/3. You want to see some really nice shots? Try it, okay? Now that is a secret professional behind the scenes on how to work flash outside. -1 2/3 on your flash, and your camera is set to expose at natural compensation. All right, guys, let me see what time it is. We're going to have to stop here because I'm going to be walking all over Sly in a few minutes. So thank you for that picture, our sexy lady for the night. And I see Carlos and Sammy and Charles have sent pictures in. I'm not going to delete those. I'll leave them. So in the future, if I run out of pictures, I'll come back to those, okay? And 2 weeks from now, we'll do this again. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope it was interesting and entertaining. I feel like I did borderline getting too deep. Some of the more shallow things, like what's 18% gray for? Your camera exposes for 18% gray, but it white balances on white, okay? So that's it. So thank you, guys. I appreciate everybody that sent in the pictures. I really appreciate it. I think my volume was a little bit too high tonight. I see it dipping into the red. I think I got a little excited. Okay. So now I'm going to lower it at the end of the show. What are you good for, Peter? All right. I am going to close out my show here and thank everybody for the pictures that they did. That was phenomenal. We got some real good lessons out of these pictures. Okay. I love each and every one of you. I do videos almost daily. It's going to cost you $1 to look at them. It's on Patreon. If you think I'm worth $1, not even a milkshake used to be $1, $1.29. What does a milkshake cost now? So if you think I'm worth a milkshake or a cup of coffee, go to the link where the Patreon is and sign up for $1. And if you want to splurge, do the $3 one. Oh my! Okay. And I shoot right now with the Sony E1, ZV-E1, and it's whatever I'm doing. And sometimes I'm just not dressed nicely, okay? Sammy can speak to the fact that I know he watches the videos all week long, so he could tell you that it's comfort food compared to excellence type of stuff. So the reason that I'm explaining that is not because I'm begging for money. I'm gonna disengage from YouTube and what they give for money, and I'm just gonna do on the people that think I'm worth $1 a month or higher. You could do $25. You could do $50 a month. Okay, but I purposely set it to start at $1 so anybody can get involved. And I make a video. I'm showing you working in the kitchen. I'm showing, well, I don't take the camera into the shower. I don't think that camera is waterproof. But anything that I'm doing for that day, if I'm cooking something, if I got something in from Amazon, if I'm sending or returning something, or if I'm examining a procedure on a camera, okay? It's, what do they call it? Potluck. It's whatever comes up. Costs $1 to see those videos. They're on the Patreon site, okay? Love you guys. I will see you next Friday, God willing, and the bridge isn't up. We're not doing pictures next Friday. Next Friday, we're going to have the Christmas room showing because some people really like the feeling of the Christmas room. And I just appreciate you guys. All right, so I'm going to do the end screen, which gives you a couple of minutes to say goodbye to each other because I noticed I was cutting it off too early. And some people were trying to say goodnight. So good night to everybody. I love you. You'll see me in the background kind of closing down everything. But now is the time to say your good night messages. And then I'll see you over at Sly's in a few minutes. Bye.
Silent night, oh holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round the Virgin, the Mother, the Child, holy infant, he's tender, he's mild. Silent night, oh holy night, Son of God, love's pure light. Radiant beams from your holy face, with the dawning of saving grace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds shake at that sight. Glory is streaming from heaven above, heavenly angels sing hallelujah.
Just watched another Peter Gregg video. Something warm, human, and wonderful happens when you watch Peter Gregg. Thank you for watching.